I'm upset at you folks.
Not me. Is it me? No, not me. I won't take that.
Who are tweeting and commenting as to why Black folks should be engaged in this conversation on immigration. I've seen a lot of conversations about, Mexicans don't care about us and Latinos don't care about us and things like that. As if you haven't been paying attention in this last year that one, not all immigrants are Latino.
Right.
Number one, there are
many Latinos are Black.
Many Latinos are Black. And as you've seen, that was done to Haitians, Hondurans, and others. Right. And you see what's happening in Puerto Rico.
Right.
And that's America.
Right.
That we all should be engaged in this conversation.
Right. And it's important to know that Black immigrants make up about 10% of the Black American population. And that alone, the fact that one, they are so prevalent, and two, we have to remember 90+% of the Africans who were stolen from Africa, kidnapped and dragged to be enslaved for life did not come to the United States of America. They went to Dominican Republic and Haiti. They went to Trinidad. They went to Brazil. They went to Venezuela, Colombia, Puerto Rico, and so Mexico. So Blackness, one, if we're talking about Pan-African, right, this is something that has a broad impact on all of us. And when a cop sees you or I see you, they don't say, oh, you're the Jamaican. No, they say you're the Black person. I'm going to find out your ethnicity, your nationality later. But they're seeing you and they're evaluating you, all of us, through the gaze of white supremacy as it views Blackness. So it's really troublesome because as soon as they get rid of that 10% of the Black population, there's the 90% of us who are all here who are still going to be targeted. So it's
and I know where this stems from, June. The conversation about this is stemming from is putting us in competition in terms of employment. And so for a number of people, the conversation is, well, if you care about changing the Black unemployment rate, then you would be, for or against immigration or some sort of amnesty for immigrants in this country as well. As if directly by getting rid of all of immigrants in this country that would immediately employ
Raekwon and Keisha and them.
Ask them if Raekwon and Keisha gonna go out there and do what half them are actually doing, because most of us are not going to.
But and it's not just Black folks, it's just Americans.
Folks, period.
Right.
We're uppity like that in the mind. Like, I'm not gonna pick no lettuce. But you got to get out, lettuce picker.
Right. But and then it's also because even in that conversation, in terms of the vast majority of immigrants and marginalized people in general do jobs that people that have advanced degrees and others do not. Right. So it's not just an issue of immigrants doing that job. It's also people, because poor whites do those kinds of jobs as well. It's not having access to higher education, not having access to greater technical training, or even being in an area where those things exist, where people are then resulting to those particular low wage, unskilled labor jobs.
And not for nothing, but if you're in a city like New York or Florida, which are the two top places where Black immigrants tend to be located in the country, these are job creators many times. There are many, many, many blocks in the Brooklyn space where if you don't have access to Black immigrants who are opening stores, opening shops, opening restaurants, you will have an underserved community that is not going to have other
blighted blocks.
Blighted blocks. And so they're bringing industry and commerce to many Black communities because nobody else wants to live around us unless they're gentrifying us. And two, they're often employing Black Americans or native-born Black people who are born here into the spaces that they've opened up for commerce. So, I mean, we have to be way more Pan-Africanist in how we approach these types of conversations, because Marcus Garvey, like all of these people were able to do. I mean, there are many, many, many African nations right now that exist drawing on the legacy of what Marcus Garvey was doing here and what he was doing as he was traveling. And so setting up that model, when we're talking about a president who's saying we live in all, S-hole countries, if anything, our responsibility is to make sure we pull us all out of the S-hole, and that includes making sure that we have a Pan-African perspective when it comes to immigration.
Or not even thinking that the resources that were actually stolen from those countries and everything actually helped propped up the countries that are now financially these big mega
Yeah.
History is like a real thing, but nobody ever really looks at or reads or studies history. So here we are, because the bottom line is, like you talked about Marcus Garvey, if those type of stories and those things were out front for people to understand and learn from, then people would make different choices. But the whole unlearning from white supremacy is so deep, so ingrained. We're going to be at this for a very long time, y'all.